Yes, everyone, what's going on? My name is Stephen Howson. This is Stretford, Paddock, and it's my turn to do a little bit of the news. Normally, I'm here telling you that we're not signing anyone, but today I'm here telling you we're not signing anyone. How different is that? Hope you're having a good Saturday. It's not as early as it is usually because I'm not getting out of bed that early, so deal with that. Right, first one that we are talking about then is James Cooper of that there Sky TV. You might have heard of him. You might have seen him on the channel. He was coming out yesterday and he was saying that Manchester United are relaxed about their transfer activity. Well, fuck me, James. They are. I don't think any of the fans are. Manchester United fans are losing their shit online over this. I mean, and I know you're thinking, Steve, that's what United fans do, isn't it? Well, yeah, it is, yeah. But, wow. That's a weird statement to make. There's only two possible reasons for this. One, they don't care, which I wouldn't like to put any odds against that. The other one is that they actually know that there is business going to be happening and they're just taking their sweet old time about it. When you consider everything that's going on at Manchester United at the moment, like, the club captain's basically on trial and could go to jail. That's handy. Marcus Rashford's double injured. You got Paul Pogba with the Rona. Yeah. I'm sure you would be relaxed about it. That being said, I don't want to lose my mind too much about this because what else do you expect the club to say? Do you expect the club to be like, James, we are shitting it? What are we going to do? We're not even going to finish top 10 next year if we don't sign all the players. You got to remember, when clubs put out statements or when they brief the press like this, that's them putting their spin on things. They're not always going to tell you the truth of what's going on. So you have to read between the lines a little bit. It's a weird statement to make, but I'm not going to put that much credence in it just yet. Next up then, we're talking about Fred. This is a strange one actually, and I do think there's something in this. Sports Witness covered it, but it was in a Turkish newspaper, Photomac, that Galatasary have had the green light, or the manager has had the green light, to go ahead and try and sanction the loan of Fred. For starters, Manchester United are losing players in midfield, or we are weak in midfield, in my opinion. Now, we paid a lot of money for Fred. I can't imagine anyone at the club would be really happy to see him go on loan somewhere. Now, this isn't a youngster that needs minutes. This is an established international, more or less, that's part of the first team squad. Now, for me, he's not first choice. But Fred had a very important part to play at a large part of this season. Fred had a real key role to play at certain parts of this season. Why would we want to lose that level of depth? Now, we extended Nemanja Matic's contract with, inexplicably, 22 years. You've got McTominay, who doesn't exactly fulfill you with confidence that he could push on and be a first-choice regular in the team. United need to invest in direct first-choice players, and we also need strength in depth. We saw how weak everyone was when they just played constantly, and Solskjaer clearly doesn't trust the backups. I honestly thought Fred was one of the players that he trusted. I thought he had some fantastic performances just before Christmas. I thought, in particular, that Tottenham and that City game, Fred come off and you could wring his shirt out. I thought he put in a fantastic shift and really sort of looked like he was starting to get to grips with being a Manchester United player. So to hear that Galatasaray fancy him on loan, now that might all be one-sided. Galatasaray might be like, we want him and we'd like to try and get him on loan because we're clearly not going to pay 50 million for someone. And that might be entirely accurate. But I would find it very bizarre if Manchester United was to be like, yeah, cool, that's a good idea. Let's do that. Let's give you our £50 million player when we need our own players. So, even though I'm not going to completely dismiss this as bullshit, there might be a lot of truth too that they want him. That's cool. We all want things that we can't have at times. But I think it's certainly one that we're going to have to keep an eye on because I think this has come from quite a reliable place, and I think there's a lot of truth to that element of it. But like I said, it can be entirely true from one side. Like, here's some facts I know. Manchester United want Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho wants Manchester United. Those are indisputable facts. Manchester United agreeing a price for the guy with Borussia Dortmund, a little bit trickier. So it doesn't matter how much Jadon wants to come here or how much United want to bring him to Manchester. If we're not prepared to pay what Dortmund would accept for him, guess what? He stays in Germany. So I think this is definitely one to keep an eye on. The loan thing's interesting though. Because that almost feels like that's not someone throwing a name out and going, it'd be all right to sign, wouldn't it? That feels like someone's already done some preliminary inquiries, and it feels like someone may have already started to make a little bit of movement or inquiries, and that might have come back as an answer. Because a loan for a player at his peak is a bit strange. I will be honest, a little bit strange. And finally, we saw Twitter absolutely erupt in only the way Twitter does, with the excitement of the Ortega family being interested in buying Manchester United. If, like me, about 12 hours ago, you're like, the fuck are the Ortega family? Well, I'm here to educate you, because that's what we do. The Ortega family are the owners of Zara, high street fashion chain, and they've got somewhere in the region of, I don't know, 80 billion in the bank. As producer Cam has just opened his jacket to tell me that he is sporting a Zara number. So a report from Radio Fuego came out last night. I went and found the original tweet from them, and I will read it out for you guys. Okay, so on Friday evening, Radio El Fuego tweeted the following in English. This is the English translation of it. We are hearing from a very reliable source that the owners of Manchester United have an offer from the Spanish Ortega family. Amancio Ortega and his daughter Sandra believe that this is the perfect time to buy the club. Of course, with a lot of us that don't really like our owners and would like someone that actually puts money into the club rather than taking money out of the club, that's a very attractive proposition. For starters, we don't actually know anything about the Ortega family, or certainly I don't know anything about the Ortega family, and do they even like football, or is this a pure investment opportunity? Which is exactly what the Glazers did. Just because they've got 80 million in the bank doesn't mean that they're like, right, we've spent all our lives amassing this 80 billion, now we're just going to blow it on a football club. Doesn't necessarily mean that that's how it's going to go down. What you might find is they're actually ruthless businessmen, and they might rinse us more than the Glazers do. They might be like, season tickets are how much? Fucking 10 times that, my mate. It's interesting, though. What I find curious about it is nobody in the big reporter world is talking about this. Radio El Fuego's Twitter account, the Oficial Cuenta de Twitter, isn't verified. It only had 1,800 followers a few hours ago. Now it's up to 2,600. It has been around since 2013, so it's not like someone made it this weekend and just decided to start having a blag. But honestly, I don't know anything about them. And if I go on their account now, they are doing a lot of football-related retweets and stuff like that. I guess we will wait and see. Might be a blag, might be legit, but as it stands, no big outlets are reporting on this. They do call it their information, so it might literally be that they have got some information from somewhere. They might be close to the Ortega family, and they are tweeting primarily in Spanish, which makes it feel at least a little bit more reliable, unlike all these fraud, bleeding, in-the-know accounts that claim to be different agents that are on Twitter and all they do, and they're Spanish, and they tweet just exclusively in English. Not really buying that. But yeah, I guess it's something to keep an eye on. If there is going to be a takeover for the club, it doesn't happen in a weekend, certainly not for an asset like Manchester United that is also listed on the New York Stock Exchange. I would expect that they have to report that there is an offer very soon. So the timing of that happening on a Friday evening with a bank holiday, I don't know if that affects the New York Stock Exchange or not. But I would expect some big outlets to report on this weekend if there's any truth to that whatsoever. I have no idea. I'd be very interested in seeing a new owner take over with a new philosophy, but they have to be someone that's in it for footballing reasons. Because if you just get another owner that's a ruthless businessman that's just looking at the ones and the zeros on an accounting sheet at the end of the month, that's not going to make you a better football club. Football can't be run the way other businesses are run. They don't make sense the way other businesses are run. If you want to improve productivity, you go for more accurate manufacturing. If you want to improve productivity, maybe incentivize people to do certain productivity. Football doesn't work like that. Sport doesn't work like that. You can't treat football like any other business. There's not many football clubs that are out here making money. Football clubs generally are passion projects that lose money. Look at Roman Abramovich. Look at the sheikhs down the road. You don't really make money out of football clubs. So if they're interested in it for football reasons, if it's like, do you know what? We saw Manchester United come to Barcelona in 1984 and we've just loved them ever since. You go, oh, okay, there might be something in this. Otherwise, if it's just another ruthless business owner, you might as well be better sticking with the Glazers. Better the devil you know and all that caper. Anyway, that is it from me. Make sure to subscribe. And, well, we've got football back in a couple of weeks. Happy days. Laters.